What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's show. I already see there's a few little crybabies saying I'm late. I'm 30 seconds late, but I'm sitting here laughing at some of the comments. That's why I'm late. So it's your fault. Stop being so funny and I'll stop being late. Some of the comments always make me smile before I get started. Especially people like our friend Scratch83 who's moaning like he's not sitting there waiting for the stream to start, moaning about me. Dude, if you don't want to be here, you know the story. But I'm here for a good time, my friends, and there's loads to talk about tonight, and I want your assistance, as always, because trying to figure out what on earth Liverpool are doing in the transfer window right now is a difficult old game. It's tough, and the links today have been few and far between, so yes, we'll have a conversation about ones that are probably unrealistic, but I want your help in trying to track down the ones that you think are realistic. So, as always, this is your show. You have the say. The floor is yours. I'm just here to interact, have a bit of fun. And of course, look, there are topics that we'll talk about. We still have to get the here we go on the Jordan Henderson and Fabinho moves away from Liverpool. But I want to know who you guys want to bring in. And also, Scratch, my friend, I'm a little bit better looking than Dara O'Brien. I'll tell you what, we'll do a trade off. He's far more talented than I'll ever be, but I think I'm a little bit better looking. I've always said this, Scratch, mate. You might know this, but myself and Dara O'Brien grew up about 5 miles away from each other. So I have often wondered, is there a postman or a milkman knocking around that neck of the woods that has a few questions to answer? So look, let's start off about the two biggies in the title of the stream tonight. You know, Marco Verratti and Joshua Kimmich. Both have pros and cons. Verratti, probably more cons than pros, if I'm being honest with you. I always idolised Verratti as a footballer. You can go back and watch Anfield Agenda streams 3, 4, 5 years ago. Always said how much I would have loved him at Liverpool. But not now. Not now. We do not need to be going out there and bringing in a 30-year-old injury-prone player who is certainly past his best. I love him as a footballer. He's so tidy. And a few years ago, I would have crawled over broken glass to bring Verratti to Liverpool. But not now. No way. No way I'm having Liverpool going out there and spending that much money now. But there are some links to Joshua Kimmich. Now, I think the biggest issue we have, guys, with Joshua Kimmich is his wages. He's currently on about 300,000 a week at Bayern Munich. And I'm sure he deserves those wages. You know, he's been an integral part of that Bayern team. But we know that there's only one man at our football club currently on those wages. And he had to earn those wages, Mo, by breaking records, by being absolutely phenomenal. So I think they're a bit unrealistic, the two links that I have in the thumbnail tonight. But they're the biggest ones today that I've seen in the media. That's the truth. That's how quiet this is. So Kimmich I'd love. I think we'd all have Joshua Kimmich in a heartbeat. But I've not seen a price, and I've looked to see what Bayern would be willing to sell him for. But maybe you guys can help me out with this one. I'll donate a tenner a week. We're on the way. Tor Garage Stores, we're on the way. You've got a tenner. I'll match it. I'll chuck in a tenner as well. So we're only about £298,980 a week, mate. Off getting Joshua Kimmich in. We'll get there between us. We'll get the old GoFundMe going or something. I already subscribe on your YouTube. Brilliant. Great to have you in. Appreciate you. So I did say I'd get you guys the FPL link, and I'm going to put that into the chat now for you guys as well. If you do want to come join our FPL, it is absolutely free. So feel free to come join us. It's open to everybody. There you go. There's the link in if you would like to come and join us. And of course, we will have prizes like we did last season as well. 70 million for Kimmich, said Kelvin. Or is it Kelvin? Yes, it is Kelvin. 70 million's a bit on the, you're moving into Verratti, or not Verratti, you're moving into Barella money there, dude. And on Barella, there has been a story today linking us to Barella once again, as well as Manchester City and somebody else. So yeah, there's plenty for us to go through tonight, but there's also a lot of waffle for us to pick the bones out of. So give me a subject that you want to start off with, and we'll go for it. I've got my notes ready. Sadio Mane, by the way, looks like he's just about to complete a move. L'Equipe are reporting that Sadio Mane has agreed to join Al Nassr over in Saudi Arabia. So he looks like the latest in a long line of players who were plying their trade in Europe, who are now going over to Saudi Arabia. So another one bites the dust. Let's get Kimmich, said Patrick. Kimmich is 28. Yes, but we need that. Like, 28's probably on the high side, Darkness. I'll give you that one, dude. But I do think we need this 26, 27, somebody about that age bracket to come in now, because if we brought in a young Lavia, there's just not enough experience there. Now, I had a very good interview earlier on today with Darren McAnthony, who's the Peterborough United chairman and owner, and also a massive Liverpool fan. And we got stuck into it about Jordan Henderson, and, you know, got a little bit heated at times, but really good conversation. I'm going to put that video out on Saturday. I hope you guys get a chance to watch it and let me know your thoughts on it. Hendo and Fabinho off, said National Treasure. Yeah, and it's very quiet on our side with regards to potential incomings. But this, to me, is a good sign, which sounds crazy, right? I'm coming on here telling you it's quiet, but then I'm going to tell you that that's a good sign, because I really do feel like there's something brewing behind the scenes. I feel like there's something that's going to come in the next day or two that will surprise us all. I don't know who that might be. I don't know who that might entail coming in, how much money, but quiet times for Liverpool with regards to nothing leaking is usually good with regards to the old transfer market. So let me know your thoughts. Is my chat frozen? 1 second. Sometimes the chat does this for me. Bear with me 1 sec while I unfreeze it. Yeah, it is. It's just absolutely gone. Let me refresh this. That's mad. Chat's just disappeared for me completely. I'm going to refresh. 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Don't know what was going on there, but the chat just completely froze me. I couldn't see any of your comments. Still nothing coming through. Let's get Kimmich as the last one. Why is the chat frozen? This is a strange one. All I'm seeing now is a frozen chat and none of your comments are coming through. No idea why. Is the chat frozen for anybody else? I guess you can't tell me, can you, if the chat's frozen? Let me try and put in a comment myself. Yeah, there we go. It's coming through now. Sorry, I didn't know what was going on there. Wow. Freaks me out. Freaks me out when the chat goes still, because I'm like, no, am I on my own? Have I gone offline? We're back. We're back. Yeah, sorry, don't know what happened there. Working now. Good, good, good. We're all good. Yeah, must have been a glitch in the old YouTube front, but I'm glad you didn't abandon me. I thought we were here an abandoned ship there. I thought everybody was like, nah, sick of him now. You know, the little few minutes he's back on YouTube, I'm bored of him. So yeah, sorry, we're good, we're back. The FPL link is in the chat if anybody wants to join that. So let me get into tonight's main topics, really. And a story coming out of Italy from Tutto Mercato Web, who are an Italian outlet, say that City have got a good look at Nico Barella in the Champions League final, and they like what they've seen, and they're considering putting a bid in. They've also mentioned ourselves and Newcastle as potential suitors. Now, I don't think Newcastle are in the market for somebody of that caliber right now. They're currently having Harvey Barnes undergoing a medical, so that'll be another player that they've brought in, most likely to replace Anas Maximan, who looks like he's departing. So, I mean, this is my dream, other than Bellingham, but we don't mention Bellingham anymore. This was my dream. So I'd absolutely love Liverpool to go after Barella, but I just don't see a world where it happens, unfortunately. Best YouTube channel anywhere. Do you know what, Charles? What I always say is, look, it's easy for me because I have the best community. That's what makes my job simple. You guys come in with your comments, with your viewpoints, with your interactivity, and that's what makes our channel. That's what makes people come back. The warmth, the welcome that you guys give them. So big up yourselves. It's nothing to do with me. Get Sangar. I feel like there's been a lot of love for Sangar from Liverpool fans in my chat here over the past few days. But can I ask a sincere question? Have you guys seen real links to us with Sangar? Because I haven't. The last time I spoke about Sangar on this channel was with Chris Stonage, who used to be part of the channel. And by the way, massive congratulations to Chris Stonage. You guys remember Chris. Chris has now become the media officer for the World Snooker Tour. So he gets to travel around watching snooker, doing the media work. And you know what? A nicer fella it couldn't happen to. Chris deserves everything that comes his way. I wish him all the best with his journey with the World Snooker Tour. So delighted for him. I watched his video where he announced it last night. Over the moon for him, because Chris is one of life's good guys. What's happening with Lavia? Mari, it's a brilliant question. And I wish I could sit here and give you a definitive answer, but it's gone quiet. And it's gone quiet from us. It's gone relatively quiet from Arsenal. But quiet isn't necessarily always a bad thing. I think I think we're going to see something. I've just got a gut feeling we're going to see something over the next couple of days. What's the price on Thuram and is he worth it over Lavia? So on Thuram, I've been ahead of the curve on this one. Regular viewers of our show will know. When all the talk about Thuram for 40, 50, 60 million euro was doing the rounds, I told you guys the price to get him out of Nice is 35 million pound, and that's still the case. So Kefren Thuram to me is a fantastic option. Um, yeah, he's just a good option. But we can't, whatever way we discuss this, I don't think we can get past the lack of experience though. So what I want to ask you guys is, are you willing to bring in a midfield that is relatively inexperienced, knowing that in the medium to long term, this will set us up? Or do you think that Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool need to get that mix right now? Maybe bring in somebody like a Lavia, plus the experienced player that we spoke about. Because I'm torn on this one. I know there's the old adage that you can't win anything with kids, but if we brought in the right caliber of youngsters, I mean, we'd be set. We'd be set in midfield for the next 4 or 5 seasons. So it's a really difficult one, and that's why I think the club are taking their time. The Crystal Palace guy, you mean Decore? I think I can pour a little bit of cold water on that one. So there was a piece that came from BBC Sport. Yesterday, Daily Mail's Sami Mokbel brought news of a potential Czech Decore was being valued at around 70 to 80 million pound. Again, I'll go through that. The Mail yesterday reported that Decore has been valued by Palace at about 70 to 80 million pound. They then go on in this piece to say that BBC Sports reporter Alex Howell, who also adds, the Anfield Chiefs believe this is a fair valuation for the midfielder. I don't think it is. I don't think 70 to 80 million quid is a fair valuation, and there's no way on earth I think Liverpool are going to go to Crystal Palace and pay 70 or 80 million pound for a player who's been at Palace for a year, and they got for 21 million quid. So I don't see value in Decore myself, but, you know, it's the age-old problem of, do we care how much a transfer is if we look at it and view that it's improved the team? Like I make this point with you guys all the time about Arsenal. We can all banter Arsenal, and I certainly will at times, about some of the fees they've paid. But ultimately, Declan Rice improves their midfield. We can't argue about that one. So, do we really care as long as you get the players that you feel improves your midfield? Like, as fans, are we often at times too invested in the finances of a deal? You know? Because I don't really care what we paid for Virgil van Dijk, because we have got years of great service from Virg. I don't care what we paid for Alisson Becker, because we got years of top level great service from him. So I think it's just about getting it right. But I am very intrigued to see where the club go next, because this pause in the transfer window for us is a little bit, it's unnerving, right? When you see 2 potential players leaving that we may or may not have expected to move on. Ryan, how are you, Ryan? Said, we surely have to buy a Fabinho like 6. Somebody who can intercept balls, break up counters. What do you think? Yes. But I guess the question, Ryan, is Lavia that guy, taking into account his, young age, 19 years of age? Or would you like to see somebody like an Amrabat or, Kone maybe to a lesser extent, albeit, he's still quite young? Fellow Irishman, what's happening on Florentino Luis? Liam, very quiet, but as I'm just trying to get across, quiet doesn't necessarily mean bad. On my time watching Liverpool Football Club and looking at the transfer market, and I'm a transfer hound, I absolutely love the transfer market. I've noticed that the leaks have stopped, and they've gotten less and less so over the last few years. Right down from the time FSG brought Jurgen Klopp in as the manager. They've always tried to be quiet and stealth and quick in doing their transfer business. So, weirdly, I'm actually optimistic that is quiet right now because I think something's going to happen. I just don't know what it is because they're being that good at keeping it quiet. Oscar says Amrabat is the guy. Lavia F no, said L. Amrabat is too slow for the Premier League, said Pampos. Yeah, but look at it this way, my friend. There's no way any of us could ever accuse Fabinho of being lightning quick. Of all the attributes that Fabinho's had, and there have been many great ones, lightning pace wasn't one of them. So I wouldn't necessarily say that somebody not having speed is a way to rule them out of this particular position. Are we still looking at the Wolves player? I can't remember his name. Nuno, what's his name? Not Nuno, what's his fucking name? Matheus Nunes. No, I don't believe so. Because he hasn't done himself any favours in that season at Wolves. Like, since he moved over there, he's not really set the world on fire. And I spoke to a few Wolves fans about him, and they've not been impressed with what's his name? Matheus? Is it Matheus Nunes? Yeah, it's Matheus Nunes, isn't it? We don't need a Fabinho replacement. McAllister can play in that position. You're kind of wrong, though, Kirk. No, sorry. That sounds rude of me. What I mean, Kirk, is McAllister's been brought in to play the left-sided 10. And Szoboszlai's been brought in to play the right-sided 10 in this 3-2-2-3 system. So Trent will become one of the other two in front of the defence. So we do need the 6. Now, you're right, McAllister can play there, but I don't want to waste him there. Alexis McAllister is perfect for in and around the penalty area, trying to find those pockets of spaces. So I still think, ideally, I'd like somebody over 6 foot, 22 to 25 years of age, physical presence, a proper destroyer in there, like a real shithouse. Stefan is the new Busquets. Chris, I'm so happy about Stefan's future. But again, we have to realise that he's still a relatively young man and he needs to learn on the job. And in a weird way, the Europa League might help us with that for the likes of Ben Doak, Stefan Bajcetic. I watched the interviews yesterday after the pre-season friendly, and Jurgen was very complimentary of Conor Bradley. Did you guys, I'm sure you guys watched the LFC TV Go clips and stuff. Did you see how there was something in Jurgen's eye that lit up when he spoke about Conor Bradley? And it made me very proud as an Irishman, obviously. Wow. My God. Brian. Now I can say your name. For all those months, dude, I wasn't able to say your name because I knew your name, obviously, but everyone else just knew you as LFC USA. Wow. $99.99 super chat. So that tells me a couple of things. One, you're on an iPhone, aren't you? And two, you're an absolute legend as always. Good to see you, my friend. Can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. The Saudi departures further highlight the negligence of FSG in the last 2 windows. Hopefully we can add at least 2 to 3 more players to upgrade the squad. So Brian is a Bostonian, lives over in Massachusetts and is in the finance game, and we've had many chats offline, myself and Brian, about FSG and about what the club are doing right and wrong. And you know I don't disagree with you, dude. And we do need 2-3 more players, you're right. Now on that, Brian's also talked about the live show. I have a link if anybody wants to come and join us for the tickets. I've got a direct link here for you today. Let me get this in. So if you do want to come see us in Dublin, that is the link for the live tickets right there. We have provisionally booked Cardiff. So we are closing in on giving you guys the definitive on that one. And you know what? We're thinking about doing it a little bit differently in Cardiff, and I'll explain that a bit later on. Remind me later on to give you guys a heads up on that one. Wow, I'm still shocked by Brian, man. That's unbelievably kind. For people who don't know LFC USA, if you're on Twitch, you'd absolutely know him because he gifted, I want to say, 1,700 subs on Twitch. He's absolutely unbelievable. And he's coming all the way across from America to join us for the live show. And we're going out for dinner with himself and his brother the day after as well. So thank you as always, man. Ed Polar Bear said, excellent quality show, Craig. Mate, it's easy for me because I've got you guys. I often look at other YouTubers and see See, just the chat being ignored. Now, I'm not saying that to slander anybody. The reason I'm saying it is because I couldn't do this show without you. Like, I see Goldbridge or others very good at their 10, 15-minute monologues, excellent at, the way they present news and stuff. I'm not that guy. I need you guys to bounce off. This is why it's also special to me, the live stuff with you guys here, because I need you. I need to feed off you. I need to have the banter with you. It makes me feel alive. Craig, can I play as a holding midfielder? If you want me to sit on somebody and stop them from moving, I'm your guy. I'm built for that role. If you want me to mop up in front of a defence and run around, those days are a little bit behind me, I'm afraid. What realistic signings would you want next? Exotic Alpha, thank you for your question. What realistic signings will I want next? I love the idea of Lavia. I mean, I really do. Because I will say, when Lavia was first linked to us, I knew nothing about him. Nothing. I knew he played for Southampton. I knew he was a former Manchester City player. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I tracked his progress or watched much of him at Southampton. I didn't. But as I've gotten to know and read about him and read journalists and read scouting reports, I'm excited by his possibility. But we do have this gap now of experience. And in one way it excites me and in another way it petrifies me. Because I know they say you can't win stuff with kids, but, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And I think Lavia looks like he's good enough. So I'd love us to sign him. I think we'll probably get that done. I know Southampton want around 50, but I think there could be a deal to be done at about 40. Whether that's still too much or not, I don't know. And after that, not really big on the Verratti signing. I think his best days are behind him. Barella's the dream. Look, we'd all love a bit of Nico Barella. Kimmich I think's a bit fanciful, if that makes any sense. Like, is there anything about John W. Henry and FSG that make you guys feel like they would potentially spend a significant amount of money? Because I don't know what Kimmich is going to cost. I've tried to find out today, but I truly don't know. But I did find out one thing, and it might be something that you already know, it might be something that you don't know. But the club didn't want to give Jordan Henderson a contract renewal. The club didn't want to extend his deal in 2021. Jurgen stepped in to make sure that the club extended Jordan Henderson's contract. And look, who was proved right. And I hate to say that, because I'm somebody that goes in on our owners quite a bit. But they were right to take the sentiment out of it. And I don't like to say that because I don't like to give them much credit. But they were right. So I think we do need to look to youth now to rebuild, because we see by getting the right players that we can sort ourselves out for many years to come. Frankie de Jong, he ticks pretty much every box, Chris. Perfect age, perfect pedigree. Just the wages. Just the wages for Frankie de Jong have always been the thing that made me feel like he's out of Liverpool's grasp. I always thought United could afford to pay those wages because, United generate a ton of cash. On United, actually, as well, they gave Bruno Fernando the captaincy today. All I want is Lavia. So, I don't think... I don't know if we get away with just Lavia now. Now, if we kept Thiago, I'd feel a bit more comfortable, all right. Like, having Thiago there, Lavia there, Bacecic there, we could reevaluate, if needs be, in January. Yeah. It will be interesting. De Jong is 100 million plus. I don't think he is, to be fair. I think you'd get De Jong for less than that, especially with Barcelona's situation. And the fact that, they were told as well that the selling off of future TV revenue generation or media generation, that can't count as FFP. So, yeah, they do still have to get their finger out a bit there, Barca. Salvador, how are you, my friend? Said, I think we made a big mistake not activating Ugarte's release clause of £53 million, which is a bargain. No argument. And I think you'll struggle to find anybody in the chat who isn't a little bit perplexed as to why Liverpool weren't in that conversation. Because if you look at the start of this transfer window and go through Liverpool forums, go to our chat, go to other content creators' chats, you will see a lot of people saying this is a no-brainer. Get Sangare in. It's a no-brainer. United in the mud, what a name that is. I think Amrabat, Luis alongside Lavia is perfect. I agree. But there's a huge difference, mate, between the valuations of Sophie and Amrabat and the dude from Benfica. Amrabat apparently is about £25 million, but all we know about the gentleman from Benfica is that he's got a £103 million buyout clause. So, yeah, that's the downside of it. You're back in with another super chat, mate. Thank you. I think Amrabat Luis Lavia is perfect. Sorry if you felt you need to put that in twice, by the way, my man. I was coming back up to your original super chat, so apologies if you felt like I was ignoring you and you wanted to put the second one in. That's, I was trying to hold you off a bit there and come back to you in a second. Cameron Gibson, thank you for your question. So do you think maybe signing one or two more players this window than waiting until January? You know what? That's kind of the vibe that came up in the conversation I had with Darren McAnthony earlier on. He was saying something similar around the centre-back situation, that he gets the gut feeling that Liverpool might just go into the season with the centre-backs that we have and then look to evaluate. Because what we know is Colwell's the one. Colwell's the one Klopp wants, but we also know that there's very little chance of Chelsea selling him now. And I did read something earlier on today, though, that Pochettino is looking at Mark A from Crystal Palace. Same way we'd looked at him, and I think a couple of other clubs had looked at him. But I wonder, will that play into Colwell's thinking? The fact that he sees Pochettino running the rule over bringing in another centre-back. You have to wonder how that will play into Colwell's thinking of his long-term future at Chelsea. Because on the face of it, it should be a no-brainer for Chelsea to give him a new deal and tie him down. It feels good that we don't have to play Madrid for a year, said Josh. Yes, it does, because there aren't many clubs, I'll admit, to having our number, but they're one of them. Frank, our Australian friend, how are we? Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. I think you're the first new member today, Frank. So welcome in. Appreciate your support as always. And congratulations to your girls on beating the Irish ladies today 1-0. Still a good result for us, for the ladies, Playing against the host nation, I thought it could be worse, so I'll take the 1-0 loss. Arcadia Vader, how are you, my friend? Said, hello Craig, Klopp is good at signing players who were just relegated from the previous teams. Look at Robertson, Shaqiri, Salavi is imminent. And I feel like we've been a while, dude, since we came back to Southampton, right, to try and pinch one of their players. So, yeah, I'm with you. It does feel like the right thing to do, to go back to Southampton to bring in another player, because Southampton signings have served us very well. Wow, Brian in again. Jesus. Thank you for your super chat, Brian. Said, any idea who you think here are probable signings this window, or is it all speculation at this point? Thank you. Nothing to thank me for, Brian. You're always very welcome. Lavia is the only one that I've been told the plan is to put a bid in. And that was as soon as the Fabinho news broke. Now, what I'm not sure of, Brian, is if Jordan Henderson's departure has changed the thought process at the club. Klopp thought he had his captain for another couple of years. So the club are aware that there was going to be an offer coming for Fabinho. And I know this because if I'm aware of it, and I was, they're definitely aware of it. So they were prepared for that. But I think they always felt like they could bring Lavia in then and have Henderson to cover and to fill in where necessary. But now the truth is, I don't know. I don't know if the Lavia offer is going to be forthcoming or if there's something working behind the scenes right now that will surprise us. Reading between the lines, I try to look at what the journalists are saying. And I mentioned this to you guys yesterday. The journalist line has been that, one, Neil Jones said he kind of expects something a bit left field, something that we're not expecting. And then you've got Melissa Reddy, who in her piece for Sky the other day finished off with Liverpool love a stealth signing. So I'm wondering, do they know something we don't know? And the more the days go on, Brian, the more I feel like they know something that we don't know. And maybe they're keeping stum so Liverpool can get this deal done quietly. Adzer, thank you, mate, for a member with us for 15 months, the Anfield Agenda Ultras. We love that. I think definitely need two midfielders. I think we're in the Champions League. De Jong might have come and perhaps taken away decrease. I'm with you on the two midfielders. No argument for me on that one, buddy. I think we did. By the way, how is half an hour gone already? I feel like I'm on here 5 minutes and I look down, there's half an hour gone. It has to be two, right? Is there anybody in the chat who thinks one midfielder will do it? Because I can't see one midfielder doing it. You know, even if it was a midfielder like Barella, I still feel we're short on numbers. Whichever way we add this up, we will have lost more midfielders than we'll have brought in. Now, of course, there's a valid argument to say that we've lost some injury-prone midfielders. So the amount of minutes that we might actually get from the lads might be better because they're younger players. John Conway, thank you, buddy, for becoming a member as well. Appreciate you. We should loan out Bellingham. I agree. Send him off to Madrid for a bit of experience. Right, the chat saying Kimmich and Lavia is the dream. Josh Cleary said no, we can't get by with 3. Corrin said no, that'd be risky, said Emma. United in the Mud said no, has to be 2, said Skillzoid. Stephen Phillips said nope, we need 2 minimum. I'm with you on that one, Stephen. Liz said we need 2 as well. Oscar asked, is Federico Valverde? Yes, if it is Federico Valverde. I love him. Like, do you know what, mate? I'll be honest. I'd take him, Camavinga, or Tchouaméni if it was ever a possibility. Do we have talents that we can replace instead of a big buy? So we have some really talented young players. Connor Bradley being one of them. I don't know about you guys, but I was pretty impressed with Kwanzaa yesterday as well. We have Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones now back. They were back today, so they're back from obviously their break after winning the Euros with England, the under-21s. So, like, if you look at it from an age perspective, Elliott, Jones, Bajcetic, all what, under 21, 22. Then you've got McAllister, who's what, 24. Dominic Szoboszlai, what age is Dom? 22, 23. So Thiago's the only one there that's really over 26 years of age. So we've got plenty of youthfulness and legs, but we need a bit more guile, I think. Ben Doak should be loaned out. So there will be a decision, from what I can gather, Addy, on the likes of Bradley, Doak, and a few others as pre-season progresses. You know, Klopp wants to have a look at these guys, and rightly so. But on Ben Doak, I think he, just my opinion, I think he falls in the category of doesn't need a loan. I think he's going to be one of these players that actually the Europa League could be a godsend for. He'll get some minutes in those games, particularly the home ones, you'd imagine. Maybe the League Cup. And if that goes well, you never know. Potentially, you could look at when Mo's away, depending on how the league fixtures fall, and what games we have, giving him a run there. So normally I'd agree and say, yeah, absolutely, send out somebody on loan, but not him. I think he's the real deal. I see him as like a Raheem Sterling type when he was coming through. We knew how good he was. We knew that step up isn't going to be that hard for him. And I think we get the same with Doak. He just looks like a real talent, like the real deal. Kumas looked good. Scanlon playing well as well. Yep, John, I was watching back all the interviews last night after the game, see what Klopp, to hear what Szoboszlai and the boys were saying, and the vibe looks good. The camp looks pretty happy, and Jurgen said it was his decision to pull Jordan Henderson from the matchday squad yesterday, and I think that was the right decision for obvious reasons. How old is Doak? I want to say he's 17 now, so, you know, still really young. But can Barella play as a 6 though? Yes, he can play as a 6. Now, I'm not going to say he's a natural 6 like a Fabinho, but he could play in it. Think of a kind of Thiago 6. I think we need a right back and put Trent in midfield. Um, Trent is going to be in midfield from right back, so I get where you're coming from, but I just don't think there's a need because we're going to see Trent move from the right back position into midfield. What was interesting yesterday was that Trent played on the left of two sixes in that 3-box-3 formation. And you've seen Connor Bradley in the first half slip in from right back into central midfield alongside Trent. And you've seen Costas do it in the second half, nowhere near as well, in my opinion, as Connor Bradley did. So I don't think we need a right back. I don't think it's a priority between Joe Gomez, between Trent Alexander-Arnold, and maybe Bradley, depending how the manager sees his pre-season. I think we have options there. Who do you think will replace Mo when he goes to the AFCON? Soboslai would be my guess at this moment in time. He's been somebody that has been brought in, obviously because he's an absolute baller, but he's also very versatile across where he can play. The only position I would say he can't really play is through the centre as a 9. Andrew Webb, thank you for your super chat, mate. Would you take Mohamed Kudus from Ajax? Well, it looks like Arsenal are trying to do exactly that, Andrew. Kudus has been linked with us from, I think, around the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. And he looks like a tidy player. But Arsenal are the latest club that I've actually seen strongly linked to him. So, truth is, I don't know from our perspective. Would I take him? No, not now. Not with the players we've brought in. I think we need a different profile. Craig, I'm going to see you in the Sugar Club. Can't wait. From Portsmouth. Dude, that's awesome. So, right, on the Sugar Club. The Sugar Club's going to be a very different show to every other show I do, and I'm going to explain to you why. We're working out a format now of how live shows are going to work, and we hope to roll the same format out if we are lucky enough to do some different cities. But Dublin's an exception. Dublin is a venue that, when I finish the show, I'm walking off the stage and I'm walking straight down to your tables and we're having a few drinks and we're having a chat, and it's just going to be, if you want to come up and have a talk, let's do it. The other venues we're looking at don't lend themselves to that type of show. So we're changing the format a little bit after Dublin. And what we're trying to do for the Cardiff show is have 20 to 30 meet and greet tickets where you will get the first couple of rows. You will get in early. We'll have a chat and all beforehand. And then the rest of the people will come in and we'll do the 2-hour show afterwards. We've provisionally booked the venue in Cardiff. We're just waiting on a few technical replies on how the show will unpack, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited. Really excited, especially for the Dublin one, which I don't know the numbers of. Truly, I don't know how many tickets are sold, but I'm excited. I'm excited to come and see you guys and finally get to say thank you in person. Schlotterbeck is the left centre back for us, said Lee Walton. Schlotterbeck. Ajax? Excuse my ignorance on this one, dude, but Schlotterbeck. Who does he play for? Honestly, I'm not really up on Schlotterbeck. Although I do need to find some centre backs to look into. Come to America, Craig. That's the plan. That is the plan. Boston and Florida are the two places we hope to do. Do you know what? Can I just say for a second, this to me sounds mental. Like me sitting here say to you guys, oh, we're doing a show in Dublin, we're doing a show. To me, this sounds like, oh, look at you, you twat. Look at you, you big posh arsehole. Get on, who do you think you are? That's what my head says when we talk about this stuff. Dortmund, thank you. Dortmund. I don't know much about him, in all honesty, Schlotterbeck. Every time I've watched Dortmund over the past couple of seasons, you know who I've been looking at, right? Kessie, Barella, and Pavard be an amazing window. I'm probably one of the few people who don't want Frank Kessie. I didn't want him when he was free, and I certainly don't want him when we'd have to pay a fee. I just don't think he would suit us at all. I don't rate him as highly as other people. And he is somebody I have watched. So, yeah, for me, no on the Kessie one. I don't like the idea of us going in and having to pay for a player that we could have gotten for nothing. If we really wanted him. Break the bank for Barella, game changer, said Alan Davis. What do you think would be a realistic number, chat, for Barella? Like, what would you guys pay for Nico Barella? I'd go as far as, in pounds, 70 million. 65, 70 million pound. I'd feel comfortable throwing that Inter Milan. Probably wouldn't get it done, but looking forward to the Anfield Agenda Norwegian tour. Don't know if that will ever happen, Rabadan, because I don't know any venues. And that's the problem with these things, is trying to find the right venues. Dublin was easy. You know, it's my home city. I know venues in Dublin. Cardiff we had some help with. But yeah, as for Norway, mate, wouldn't even know where to start. So David Newell said 55 million. Not Roman said 70 million. Josh said 85. Avicii UK, which is Maddie, 60 million. 65 million for Jay Benson. 75 for Anthony. Mark Bavin, 70 mil. Mr. Too Sweet, 60 mil. 65 mil. 60, 70. I think we're all in and around, you know, I think we have a consensus. I think we can say we have a consensus. I do think we're in and around the 65, 70 mil. What's going on with Diaz? Please tell me we won't let him go. Well, that I can give you a definitive answer on, Colin, because yes, we aren't selling Diaz. Now, there's two parts to this Diaz story. Firstly, the player has shown no indication of wanting to move. And that's big, because if the player's happy, it's way easier for the... Sorry, Mace. Sorry, I thought it was Matty. Sorry, Mace. It's way easier for the club to turn these down if the player wants to stay. And Lucho wants to stay. And after that, Liverpool actually deemed the £50 million potential valuation as too low. Way too low. Not even a conversational too low. So I think we're good on that one, thankfully. Thuram and Alvarez would be my choice of midfielders. Two solid choices, John. Yeah, two solid choices that, yeah. Do you know what, mate? No notes from me. I wouldn't kick up a fuss if they came in. Is Kimmich possible? I don't believe so, Fraser, mainly because of his wages that he's currently on. He's on about 300 Gs a week, I think, at... Sorry, I'm reading through my notes here. He's on about 300... Yeah, here's the notes on him. Thiago's the exception to the rule of Liverpool signing a player, you know, over the age of 28, let's say. We pay 20 million, much cheaper than Kimmich is likely to be. The piece goes on to say that the German international has 2 years to run on his contract at Bayern Munich, and he is their highest paid player, apparently, on €300,000 per week, even though I swear Mane was on more than that. It's hard to imagine Thomas Tuchel's side entertaining offers of less than £70 million. So that's where I think this all falls apart, because I can't see John W. Henry paying £70 million for a midfielder that he knows will have no sell-on value. So I would say rule that one out. Benacer. So the latest I seen on Benacer, Lee, was that Jurgen was interested in him in the January market. AC Milan wanted him to sign a new deal. The money he's actually on at AC Milan is terribly low, to be fair. And he was on the list of players that we run the rule over. That's all I know about Ismail Benacer. Lavia and Thuram would make me sleep well at night. And it would be really funny as well, Mr. Manic, because that would be like going back to the start of the transfer window all over again, where they were the two names that were on everybody's lips. Whiffen said Fabinho 180 grand a week, Firmino 180 grand a week, Henderson I think he was a little bit over 180 grand. I think he was about 190. Milner 140. I'm going through your comments here. Yeah, look, you're right in what you're saying, mate. I think the gist of what you're saying is that we have freed up a lot of money from wages. You're right, a lot of money. And if you add into that Jordan Henderson moving on, we're also freeing up a bit of a transfer fee there. And I wonder how frustrated Klopp feels about this, because as I mentioned at the start of the show, Jurgen pushed for that contract renewal for Jordan Henderson, that contract extension. The club didn't want it to happen. And remember, he kicked up a bit of a fuss, Henderson, in the media. There was some snidey little leaks coming out. And I feel like the manager I feel like this, in the long term, this could actually be a good thing because it might make Jurgen feel a little bit less likely to bring sentimentality into these decisions. Because I think the cold business face of FSG were probably right in their initial thoughts of why would we give him another 2 years to push him through till he's 35? Doesn't make sense. But Klopp pushed for it and the owners gave it to him. Having a heart procedure, gutted to miss the show. Well, firstly, I hope everything is okay, Danny, and I hope your procedure goes well. You've got all of our love and support, mate. Please do let us know when you're recovering and it all goes well for you. But that's the most important thing. There'll be plenty of other shows, plenty of other chats I'm sure we can have in the future. Can you still mod John Conway? Absolutely. John, can you post a comment into the chat? Lash a burger or something beside it, dude? And I will absolutely... There he is. There's John. There we go. Sorry, John. Let me just sort this out for you. Done. There you go, John. Modded. And thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Anyone you want added, Mark, just give me a heads up and I'll make it happen. Come to Kenya. I mean, I want to go to Kenya for many other different reasons, but rather than having to do a show, I want to go to Kenya on a purely pleasure visit because it looks awesome. What are your thoughts about Amrabat? I'd take him, yeah. Look, Amrabat at 25 million and Lavia would make sense to me. You bring in one player who's ready for the here and now, and another player who will learn from playing alongside Amrabat or to challenge Amrabat, and we'll have our future sorted. If you brought in Amrabat, Lavia, you've got Bajcetic, you've got Jones, you've got Elliott, you've got Thiago, you've got McAllister, you've got Szoboszlai. That's pretty healthy and a good bracket of age as well. I love your videos and live streams. Andullah, thank you. It still feels very surreal to me to have people be so kind because, I'm my own biggest critic in life. So appreciate it. And they do mean a lot. Also, guys, if you haven't, please do hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you all. And yeah, we want to keep growing our community. So if you do have a chance, hit that subscribe button. You look like you've lost weight. I don't know if I have or not. I'm definitely eating less. But I don't know is the honest answer, mate. But I'm feeling all right. That's the main thing. Burgers and pizza emoji, old school, says Liz. Yes, Liz. We know we love a burger and pizza emoji. They always work. Wow, Brian in again with another super chat. Dude, I don't want to be sending you to the poorhouse. Any talk of who the new captain will be? No, but maybe we could take some clues from Verge wearing the armband yesterday. So you would imagine it's going to be either Verge, Robbo, Trent, Alisson or Salah. And I think we could all say that any one of those gentlemen would be worthy captains. But I think we'll probably take a hint from yesterday. Like Verge wore the armband and I think that might be a sign of what's to come. But what about yourself, Brian? Who would you like to see take the armband? It's going to be so weird seeing you in Dublin. Why? Dublin's my home city. Well, it's where I grew up, I should say. You've got no haters, Craig. Maybe United fans, but keep it up. It's all weird to me, dude. I'm not used to good things in life. Like, anyone who knows my story, and I'll go into it more detail at the live show, it's been an up and down journey in my whole life. So to be where I am now and to see the future of the channel, I'm very excited, I'm very humbled, and I'm very proud of what we're doing together. Irish charm goes far, Achara. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm not good at taking a compliment. Levi Colwill thoughts. That I'm much more comfortable talking about. So on Levi Colwill, let me just read you out something that might give you a bit of positivity. So there was an article doing the rounds that spoke about the fact that obviously Wesley Fofana has done his ACL. He's had an operation. He's potentially out for a while. So everybody, myself included, assumed that Colwill would step into that breach. But the Evening Standard have reported that Pochettino is interested in spending about £50 million on Mark Gay from Crystal Palace, which might destabilise Colwill a little bit. I hope it does, because I want Colwill, but I just don't know if we're going to be able to get him out of Chelsea. But here's where it gets interesting, right? When I spoke with Darren McAnthony earlier on and we were talking about the centre-back situation, his thought process was similar to mine in that I don't see Liverpool bringing in a centre-back that isn't Klopp's first or second choice. Because this is a big move. This centre-back on the left side will be the successor to Verge in the long term. So it's a big one to get right. And I don't think Liverpool will just take any old player. I think Kloppo's going to want to get this spot on. You're in a happy place. It feels like I'm going to wake up tomorrow, Eddie, and someone's going to go, yeah, you thought life was going well for you for a minute, didn't you, dickhead? That's over now, pal. So yeah, I'm trying to just take this one day at a time and appreciate it for what it is, which is life-changing, inspiring, and it makes me want to just be a better person, mate. So yeah, appreciate it. Been watching your videos for a while. You're my favourite YouTuber. Keep it up, bro, said James Quinn. Oh my God, lad, I'm so not used to compliments. Can we get back to calling me a prat? I'm far more comfortable with that. Thank you, man. Look, what I'll say is, if I can do this, you can do this. So, do it. Just put yourself out there, have a pop, and do it. Because if you told me 4 or 5 years ago that I'd have formed a limited company, I'd have employees, and I'd be sitting here talking to you good people about Liverpool Football Club, I didn't think it would have been possible, because you see these things happen to other people, but you think, not me. But then I adopted a mantra, and the mantra was quite simple. It's, why not me? And I worked with my psychologist on it, and I just kept saying, why not me? Why not me? Somebody's got to do it. Why not me? You're a brat, Craig. There we go, David. I'm far more comfortable with that. Do you think Verratti or Kimmich would be good signings given their age? Verratti, no. I'm going to try and pronounce your name, so apologies if I mispronounce. Anirudh. Verratti, give me Verratti 3 years ago to bitten your hand off for him. Love the player. Exquisite footballer. But he's riddled with injuries. So I would say no to Verratti now. Kimmich, I would take in a heartbeat, but I think the price is going to be prohibitive because, again, can't see John W. Henry spending 65, 70 million pounds on a 28-year-old. Even though it would be the cherry on the nipple. It would be perfect. Anguissa, actually, Byro, Anguissa is a name that was mentioned to me a few months ago, but I can't say I've heard anything since. But good shout, that, mate. Any news on Manu Kone? No, I'm trying to find that one out, Liam, because obviously there's some clear links there. We've got George Schmadtke knowing the German market. And Kone's injury with France, I don't know if that's put the kibosh on Liverpool looking at him, but he'd be a decent piece of business for me. A little bit further along in his development than Lavia. But I think if you looked at it in the long term, Lavia would probably be the more astute signing. CJM02, thank you for the super chat, mate. So do you not think... Sorry, I'm going to start it again. Do you think not having an expert CDM will hinder Alexis and Dominic going forward? I think we need a statement signing to allow the two lads to play. I think you just want it for a good foundation, don't you? You want to have that solid defensive foundation that allows those players like Alexis and Dominic Szoboszlai, Mohamed Salah, Darwin, the list goes on, to do their thing. And if you feel like you've got that behind you, I can only imagine what it does for the confidence. So, yes, I agree with you. A statement signing would be brilliant. I think that... I think we'll be happy when the window closes. I know there's a lot of people who are still a bit anxious over this maybe being the end of our window with the two signs we've made. I really don't. think that's going to be the case. And as I've said many times, I'm not somebody who's got a lot of positives to say about FSG. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because of the way this window started. And also, to be fair to the club, we've been a bit sideswiped with the whole Fabinho and Henderson situation. More so Henderson. Brian, another super chat, dude. Wow. Last question before I finish up work. Mate, I'm nearly on the floor here with shock. Do you know of any developments in the Manchester City 100 plus violations? Have a wonderful rest of your day and the AA community. So I'll answer that in 2 secs, but Sticks and Stones, welcome to Anfield Agenda Ultras, buddy. Look forward to getting your opinion on those membership polls and stuff like that in the future, and thank you for your support. So the Manchester City allegations, violations, charges, whichever way you want to phrase it, is being delayed, to my knowledge, by Manchester City. So I know Pep Guardiola has come out and said, let's get this finished quickly, let's get this sorted out. But at the same time, you still have Manchester City putting complaints to the judiciary panel that were put up, a 3-person panel. They were moaning about one of those being an Arsenal fan. So, you know, I think we're going to look at 2 years before we see a proper end to this. And it makes me sad because I've said this before. The longer it goes on, the more desensitized people are, because people will start to push the narrative of, well, Manchester City have balanced the books now. Manchester City are spending what they earn now. Manchester City are very successful now. And there is a point to that. But you can't get to that point without the shenanigans that went on beforehand. So the longer it goes out, the more beneficial it plays into the City hands, in my opinion. Because people just get desensitized, and you've got the Saudi stuff now, and a lot of players going over there as the big talking point, which, again, is taking the attention away from what is potentially a generational level of fuckery from Manchester City. I can't tell you how much I despise what they've done, or what they've allegedly done. It disgusts me, because it's easy to say, oh, jealous you don't have the money, blah blah blah. No, I'm jealous that potential supporters have been robbed of moments. I'm jealous that United fans, Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans won't have maybe had more league titles or celebrations if these charges are found to have been correct, because you'll never get those times back. You'll never get those moments back. And that's what this is all about for us. You know, it's about those moments that are few and far between for football club fans, of pure ecstasy and celebration. So, yeah, I'm just sad by it all. But I'm also proud that Liverpool are still ploughing ahead and trying to do as best as we can. You always brighten my day, and always there for you, mate. Thank you, Ian. Much love. Skegness, East Coast of England. Nice. I tell you what, there's plenty of places for me to come and visit, because I've learned a lot about geography over the time on the channel here, chatting with you guys as well. Any players you think we should sell? Um, no first teamers like Phillips. Yeah, let Nat Phillips move on to Leeds or wherever he chooses. Um, no, I don't think so. Like, I wouldn't be against selling Tyler Morton, to be honest. Um, but no first teamers, not no first teamers for me that I'd look to sell. Come to India, mate. I love traveling. I'll go anywhere. Trust me. You find me an excuse to go somewhere, I'll go. I love traveling. Would you take Edson Alvarez as the defensive midfielder? The honest answer, mate, is I haven't watched enough of him to give you a fair assessment. But I know that he's certainly highly thought of from you guys in the chat. So, I don't know. But I want who Klopp wants. Been loving the streams. Like I say, thank you. Keep it up. Hey, nothing to thank me for. Thank you for your continued support. Chimicus is a good shout from Gareth. You know what though, Gareth? I don't feel there's a need to move Costas on now. I think there's been enough turnover of players at the club this summer that destabilising another area, unless an offer came in that Costas wanted now, I wouldn't be moving Costas on this summer. I think another year, certainly, and then we'll reassess that position, I would imagine. Would I take Sane from Bayern? So I've always been a fan, Mark, of Leroy Sané. He's one of those few players that whenever I seen him coming off the bench for City to play against us, used to put the frighteners up me. Like I really, really did always regard Leroy Sané very highly, right through from when he was at Schalke. Um, I just don't know if we need him at the moment. We're set attack wise, so unless something happened and we lost somebody, or but nah. Other than that, no. But I do appreciate him as a footballer. Would I take Enzo or Kimmich? They're two very different types of players. Enzo Fernandez was a very good player at Benfica. Was massively overpriced when he went to Chelsea, and I'm glad we didn't pay that money because I couldn't square off in my head a player that was 10 million a year before suddenly being worth 106. It's mental. So I on that regard, I'd probably even pay the 65, 70 for Kimmich over him. I'll see you in the Aviva next year. Love from Waterford. Imagine, mate. I wouldn't. There's no fucking way. I'd be in a fetal position crying at that level of audience. What would your ideal centre back be? Josko Gvardiol, unfortunately, who's about to sign for City. Levi Colwill. They're the two for me. I'm always a bit confused as to why we weren't in the Indica conversation. You know, somebody who plays on the side we need cover for, somebody who was on a free, and that even if you didn't view as a potential long term fit, would have at least given us some cover for a few seasons. So I was very confused by that. Why when he was leaving Frankfurt that we weren't even interested really. How much money do you think LFC has to spend this summer? So the answer to that is I don't think we have a budget. I think it works on position and availability, and then it comes to the money. So I don't think that FSG will say to Jurgen, you have whatever, pick a number, 150 million. I think it's these are the players we want. Can we get them? And if we can't get them, can we manage without them? That's the way I believe that the transfers happen, but I'm sure managers would love to get a number. Didn't Fabrizio say the Gvardiol deal is staggering? Not sure. Not sure, buddy. I can't say. The last I seen was the pretty much the here we go yesterday. Bobby Clark looks a talent. Yeah, he was very good yesterday, Gareth. Good point, mate. He was very good yesterday. Um, he comes from a good footballing family as well. His father, Lee, as I said before, was player for Newcastle. I think he played for Birmingham as well. If you had to put one outfield player in net for a match, who would you pick? From what we have now, because the answer would have been Jimmy Milner beforehand. From who we have now, Matip or Sobotlai? And I don't know why I said Sobotlai, but I just get the feeling that he'd be all right between the sticks. So other than that, maybe Joel. But yeah, Milner was always the super reserve keeper, wasn't he? In case we were down to 10 men and couldn't make subs. I saw that we were linked with Czech Decore from Crystal Palace as a replacement for Fabinho. We were indeed, Sam, but Palace have put a valuation of 70 to 80 million pound on Decore, which again seems very high considering he's there a year. Um, but he's on the list of players we're running the rule over, according to the media. So, truth is, I don't know. But I can't see us paying that much money. Will Arsenal compete for the Prem, given the season they've had? No, I don't think so. I think the fact that they have a higher level of European football now, I think they'll do okay. Like I think they'll be in the mix, but they always just strike me as a bit soft. Arsenal, they should have won the league last year. They had it in their hands, and I'm sure that they'll learn from that. And they've certainly made some good reinforcements in the market. But I still think they're a bit soft. So, I'm not going to say I'm happy to be proved wrong because I don't want to be proved wrong. I want Liverpool to be challenging. But I think this season's going to see a more competitive Premier League across the board than in other seasons. Wouldn't surprise me to see 3 or 4 teams in the mix instead of, the usual City and one more. All good, Limo. All good, my man. Thank you for watching. What about Lavia and Thuram? Yes and yes, Nathan. I would take both of those, no problem. Yeah, I'd be delighted if we finish the transfer window midfield wise with Lavia, Thuram, McAllister Soboslai. Brilliant. No complaints from me. We're going till 2 hours. I'm not allowed. This is I my new guy behind the scenes doesn't like me going over an hour. I'm already over an hour and 6 minutes. So I'm gonna keep going for another 10. But he gives out to me when I go longer than an hour because he thinks that I don't know. He just gives out to me. Aston Villa will be the surprise team of the season. Well, was it Diaby? Wasn't it Diaby that they've had an agreement on now? Look, he's building a good team there. Pau Torres, another good signing. They've got Jacob Ramsey and some good young players there as well. They're not to be ignored, certainly. Will they be able to push into the European places more so than they did last season? Depends. Depends. It's a tough one because I do really, really, really rate their manager. I do. I know it didn't work too well at Arsenal, but everywhere else Emery's been, I think he's been really good. Come to Luton and do a show. London's on the list. London's definitely on the list. Cardiff's the one we want to get done next. London, maybe Birmingham. Yeah, that's the plan for me. Would you take Ibanez from Roma? He's 22. I know of him, but Nico, I won't lie to you, dude, and tell you that I've watched much Roma. I haven't watched much of Roma. I've checked in on Tammy Abraham occasionally, but no, I can't say I've watched much, so I wouldn't feel right saying yes or no, but I'd like to know what you think. I'd like to know if you think he'd be good enough. Working by the hour now. No, I'm trying to do what I'm told. If you bring somebody in who's an expert in a certain field and you don't give them the support from yourself, I have to do what I have to give this person a chance to prove themselves, and I need to help that person as much as I can. You know what George Schmadtke brings to table regarding transfers? Thanks for a great show. So, yeah, a bit of ballsiness, Andre, is one thing. He loves to throw a grenade into a negotiation and make it a little bit more interesting. And I was reading a piece on Schmadtke today who said that there is I think he said they signed a 12-month deal and they can end it in August if both parties want to, but the idea was to go for a year, and so far so good apparently from George Schmadtke, and he's enjoying the conversations with Klopp, and apparently they're working quite well together. We should go in for Barella next season and a centre back. Oh, on next season a centre back. Sorry, mate. No argument for me. Bring in Barella and I'm going to try a cartwheel. That's how happy I'd be. Are Liverpool showing any interest in Coop Miners? Yes, Phil. He's on the list of players. Gasparini was talking the other day about the fact that he's going to lose probably young Hoyland to Manchester United. And Coop Miners is somebody who we've been linked to for, I want to say, over a year. And what, in my opinion, would be a very astute, solid signing. I do like him as a football player. So certainly one I wouldn't rule out. Polinia from Fulham. Again, Shane, the only issue there I imagine would be the price. So we know West Ham have had a £45 million bid turned down. We also know that they've thrown the number of 70 around Fulham as a valuation. And again, you're looking at FSG and would they pay 70 million quid for a 28-year-old? And the answer is most probably no. What are your thoughts on Connor? I mean, I need more of a... What Connor? My Connor? McGregor? Bradley? I don't know which Connor you're talking about. If not Colwill, pair Shures. So, again, a weird one with regards to pair Shures, Gareth, because Napoli have been interested. We've been interested. But nobody in England has pulled the trigger yet. Palace, I think, were in the list as well for pair Shures, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, look, it's 40 million euro. That's the number they want, Torino. And if Liverpool want to pay it, you just wonder why we haven't. That's why I'm a little bit dubious about the links to centre-backs, because clearly the one that we want is either more difficult or not available. Is Chiesa still on our radar? Not that I'm aware of. Nobody that I've messaged or been in contact with over the past few weeks has brought him up again, Glyn. Am I worried about United this season? I guess how you measure worried is, I think we'll finish ahead of United this season. They've signed a good goalkeeper in Onana. Mason Mount will be a solid player for them. But I still think we've a better squad. I'm not trying to be bullish there or, take the piss. I'm serious. I think we've a better squad. Sanderberg, thoughts? I don't want any thoughts. None. Zero. That Sanderberg conversation needs to stop. Never again. I don't want to see that name linked to us ever again. Is Lavia better than Bajcetic? I can't give you the answer to that. But wouldn't it be lovely to have both and find out, Jimmy? Let them go at it and figure out which one is going to be the natural six. Because Jurgen Klopp isn't pigeonholing Bajcetic into the six role yet. 6 or 8 is on the table apparently for him. Mooming Ninja. Hi Craig. Massive fan of your content and videos. Thank you. Do you reckon the signings we're gonna make will be putting us back challenging for the league title again? Maybe not this season, but I do think the next season and that onwards, we'll be back in that mix. Now, we could surprise ourselves and gel a little bit quicker, buddy, and be back fighting for that league title a little bit earlier, but I'm incredibly optimistic. Really, I'm really optimistic going into this season. I'm so happy with the business we've done. I think Alexis McAllister is going to prove to be just a bargain. I loved him yesterday. Szoboszlai has that X factor about him. And the youngsters that we have coming through are really exciting. So, for me, I just can't wait for the games to start and for us to play Chelsea and move on from there. Can I sing a song for you? No, I can't, mate. Not at the moment. Bobby Clark's a baller. He looks very good. There was another comment there I was trying to get back to. Sorry, that's why I'm scrolling up here. Nope, I've lost it. Right, look, I'm going to call that a night, guys. It's a quiet one today because there's not much news, and I don't want to be here just killing your time and ruining your evenings. So keep an eye out for tonight's YouTube video, which will be dropping in the next half hour or so. And I look forward to catching up with you guys tomorrow. We're taking Saturday off, so there won't be a live stream on Saturday. But I will see you same time, same place tomorrow night, 8:30. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button before you head off. And if you want to come see us in Dublin, there is the link right now where you can get tickets to come and see us at the Sugar Club on August the 4th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. Again, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for giving up some of your evening to come and have a chat with me. And hopefully we've got a bit more news tomorrow to get our teeth stuck into. But have yourselves a great evening.